The meatball. I got your meatball right here. All right, welcome back. I'm Clayton Chapman. One of my favorite things to make are meatball sliders, a combination of Wagyu beef and pork, coupled with bacon and some whole grain mustard, a little bit of ketchup and roasted garlic. In this particular recipe, I'm going to be using lime zest as well as a lime pilsner. All of this is going to be finished with a really easy slaw, red and green cabbage, shaved carrot, a little bit of scallion, and that gets mixed with whole grain mustard, creme fraiche, and lime juice. So what I'm doing is I'm combining Berkshire pork. This is the shoulder, so it does have a lot of nice fat and marbling to it, with equal parts of Wagyu beef, a few pieces of pre-cut slab bacon, farm fresh egg. We're gonna put 2 in, homemade ketchup, whole grain mustard, fresh thyme, really makes your meatballs more robust and earthy, roasted garlic, fresh lime zest, salt, fresh cracked black pepper, fresh breadcrumbs. I like to just get into it with my hands. And add the remainder of the breadcrumbs and a pinch of flour. So everything's come together. The meat is homogeneous, meaning it's all emulsified. I like to grab about a, I don't know, tablespoon or so, just in between your hands. Good rule for me when I'm making meatballs is I want it to be somewhat sticky, like it is, but it should pull away off the surface of your hand. So you're gonna see a little residual residue. I'm gonna start forming them. I like to go ahead and chill the mixture before I sear it. And in doing that, what you really allow the meatballs to do is get this golden brown exterior crust without rendering out too much of the fat. Pre-cut bacon pieces going in the pan now. Bacon's really doing 2 things. We're gonna add the crispy bacon back later, so it's providing flavor, but what I really wanted was that rendered bacon fat. Meatballs go in. We're gonna let these sear till golden brown. Once I have a golden brown color to these, I like to drain off just a little bit of the excess fat. Chopped onion, the rest of our roasted garlic, pat of butter. And the butter helps soften the onions. Oh yeah. So at this point is really where you start to build the flavor in the sauce. I have the homemade ketchup that I put in the actual meatballs as a binder. I'll switch over to a rubber spatula so the ketchup can start to caramelize on the bottom but doesn't burn. Mustard goes in our sauce. Really doing the same thing as the ketchup. This process doesn't take more than about 30 seconds to a minute. Then I like to go in with my deglazing agent. In this case, I'm using the lime pilsner from Brickway Brewery here in Omaha. This is gonna release all that, what I call that fond, that goodness on the bottom of the pan. So what I'm doing is I'm reducing this beer until it becomes almost dry. As it reduces, really develops the flavor. A couple more pieces of fresh thyme. Adjust with salt, more fresh pepper, homemade beef stock. And as the beer reduces, becomes almost dry, we're gonna add the beef stock. I'm adding enough to cover. And this is where really slow and steady wins the race. Now, I could boil this out really quickly and kind of finish the sauce, but the best part about this is the flavors developed over time. So you get it to this point, you put it in a crock pot, you turn it on in the morning, you let it go all day while you're doing your other things, getting ready for the game or hanging out with friends or whatever. This is gonna be ready in the afternoon. So now it's just a game of patience. This is gonna come up to a boil, it's gonna come down to a slow simmer. The meatballs are ready. It's exactly where we want it to be. I'm gonna go ahead and go back in with that crispy bacon. Let that soften a little bit. We're gonna allow this to sit real low heat while we make our slaw. So for the slaw itself, in a perfect world, I like to make this a day in advance to allow the cabbage to soften overnight. If you're eating it the day that it's made, the cabbage is just gonna have a little bit more bite to it. Cabbage cut in half, I like to remove the core. And essentially all I'm doing is I just want as fine as pieces as you can cut. So we have equal parts green and purple cabbage, fresh carrots. Take the peels off. In half. I like to cut them in planks and then julienne. You just want them long and stringy. Green onion. Fresh chopped parsley. Remainder of our lime zest. After I zest the lime, I like to just roll it around on your board a little bit, put a little pressure on it. That juice warmed up a little. This is another reason I really like to do this the night before, is allow the acidity from the lime juice to just kind of soften your slaw a little bit. Salt. Remainder of our whole grain mustard. Homemade creme fraiche. So this becomes like a creamy vinaigrette that the slaw is mixed in. So fresh in here. I'm toasting these face down in a carbon steel pan. So then for assembly, let everyone build their own. Take a few meatballs, depends who's making them. Spoonful of sauce, shaved cheese of choice. I'm a fan of pepper jack. I'll put it on anything. Some slaw. What's great about these little slider buns is they're perfectly crispy on the outside, but as that softens the inside of the bread, they're like these little sauce pockets. Should have made more. Delicious. I hope that these meatballs make their way from my kitchen to yours. Enjoy, guys. More great content coming your way soon. Take care. Thanks for tuning in today. If you're enjoying our series, please feel free to hit subscribe below so you can be the first in the loop to join us each week as we release new content. That's what we need to do. We need to do meatloaf. Meatloaf would be fun. Do people search for meatloaf? Do you guys like meatloaf? I love meatloaf.